in the agenda, I went over the agenda. What are we going to be covering today? All right, so research shows, and too bad they can't see it here, right? Research shows that parent involvement can improve the students' behavior, attendance, and achievement. So this information came from the Center for Comprehensive School Reform and Improvement. You can go to Read and Rocket, and there's a huge research about parent involvement there, how it makes a big impact in the life of students and families. So I'm just gonna ask a question here. Maybe you can put it in the chat, or for the ones that are here and wanna answer, I would love some answers. And how are we, as a project, as schools, as a migrant education program, how are we fostering, how are we providing high quality parent involvement activities? Like, what are you providing in your projects? What are you doing for families? What kind of activities are you providing? Are you doing home visit? Could be a parent engagement. A home visit is part of that, because you're touching base with families. You know, you're asking them how they're doing, and you're getting to know them. That's also parent engagement.
Phone call.
Phone calls also too. Yes.
I think too, just making sure families know about, like, parent teacher. You made a bunch of phone calls for parent
Teacher conference.
you know, and doing about like events at the school, or just making them aware of, not necessarily things that the migrant program provides, but are they aware of things that the school is providing for families, so that they can be more involved in school.
I don't know if you guys were able to hear, but Omaha was sharing that they make a lot of phone calls, letting students know about home and teacher conferences.
Some of the responses are, you can see them during their PAC time meeting. They had a family literacy, I'm guessing curriculum or presentation, home visits, PAC meetings, providing resources about the importance of the parent conference, making sure they know about what's accessible to their kids.
And the year program. Family literacy. Sorry.
Where's my screen? I lost my presentation. Sure.
No, don't click that. You got, is the view over here? You left.
No, it just went out. Sorry about that, guys.
So she's at work today, but she's not feeling well. So she's on Zoom. Yeah, she's at the office. She logged in, but I can see her. She didn't feel well.
Thank you for sharing that. So in order to get a successful parent involvement, one of the things that are so important to remember is that you need to have like an, it has to be active, something that it's constantly. You're always keeping in touch with families. And it has to be an ongoing participation of the families, and it's going to be about the education of their children. So when we do parent involvement, we're talking about what is going on with the parents' education. It's good that we make home visits and we talk about like what they're going to have for lunch, or because that's part of, you know, building that relationship. But when we do home visits, we have to talk about the education of the kids. That will be the whole purpose for those home visits, to make sure kids are getting the best education and ways that we can support them, or if they're struggling in some areas, those are the ways that we get all that feedback from families. That's why it's called parent engagement, because we know what they need, we know their needs. And you can read the rest there. I'm not going to read all of that. And I know that Cesar is going to share the presentation later. But there's also barriers too. There's a lot of barriers that we face when we do parent engagement. And I know when we do local PACs. Let's think about our local PACs. We face lots of barriers. One is that maybe parents, we don't have a lot of participation, and it's hard to bring families. It's so hard to, you plan all this presentation, and you have food or whatever you're going to do, and nobody shows up, and then you get all sad because, okay, now what else can I do? That's when we have to start thinking about, okay, how else can we reach to families? So one of the barriers that during all those years that I have been working with families is I think we have a lot of the perception. We have a lot of perception thinking that parents don't want to get involved. But actually, sometimes it's that they don't know how. We have to take that step, and we got to teach them how they can get involved. Even though if they don't get involved, at least we did teach them, okay, this is the procedure, this is the invite, this is what we offer. We did the step about letting them know. But what about if we just make the assumption and they're like, well, they're supposed to go to this invitation, but we never follow up. Maybe we needed it to follow up with a phone call. Maybe we needed it to follow up with a text message. Maybe we needed it to do a home visit and just explain about what the local PAC is all about. And we're going to get to that in a little bit. So let's talk about barriers. In your chat, if you're joining, tell us about some of the barriers that you have found in order to get a successful parent involvement. Or we're gonna start talking about local PAC. What are some barriers that you see that you're like, how can we fix this? Let's share that because we do have good things, but there's always challenges. And so it's good to share both. Maybe other projects are also are going through the same. And we're probably not going to be able to find some solutions, but it will be good for other projects to know that they also face the same barriers as Omaha, which is an urban project, and they can see it also in a rural area.
Some of the answer are that parents are working during the day on their time, their schedule, transportation, again, work. They work late.
Yeah.
Language.
Language is huge. Yes. Language is huge. And we're going to talk about all those barriers and ways that the migrant program can kind of solve those. Not all of them, but ease them in order to get more involvement. And then that's when you have to think about out of the box. Okay, so I think we did this already. This is more like a presentation when you are in a big group and then you talk about what are the obstacles and barriers and challenges to get a parent involvement. And you have done that. Now let's talk about what have worked. Things that you notice that, we should keep doing this because it's working. We should never stop doing this because this works. What are some of those things that you notice that have worked before?
Childcare, transportation.
Childcare, transportation, snacks, providing some type of snacks, light meals, as we refer in the migrant program.
Trying interpreters.
Interpreters, yes.
Having a PAC meeting during the summer school program. They had great attendance.
Yep.
That's a good one.
Yeah, usually I've seen that in Head Start and it's wonderful. Kathleen, they do a PAC at the end of their summer school, kind of like a celebration the last day, and they involve the PAC at the same time. It's a great way to get a lot of participation because families want to come and celebrate. Oh, what have my kid done during, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever time it is. And then you can talk about what the migrant program is all about too. And then you can visit about, and then we're going to learn about something very important about why do we need the parent involvement? What is so important? Why do we keep talking about local PACs, PAC? And you'll see why. So we are part of a whole here. So when I say part of a whole, I'm talking about the NRGs. And can someone tell me what is NRG?
I saw someone say it on here.
What's NRGs? As a migrant program, we need to know what the NRGs are.
You guys can unmute and say it. She can hear you guys.
Non-regulatory guidance.
Ah. Piece of candy. Next time.
Well, that's my job to know.
The NRGs, well, I think it's the job of everybody in the migrant program. It's the, we'll have Suzanne say it out. Yeah, she's getting a Smartie.
I'm a smart cookie.
Yeah, she's a smart cookie.
Non-regulatory guidance.
The non-regulatory guidance, which we refer in the migrant program as our, this is my wording, please don't, I don't want to offend anyone, but I always said, this is my migrant Bible. Because I have to go through that.
Lowercase Bible.
Lowercase Bible, thank you. If you want to learn more about the parent involvement engagement and what it is, you can go to chapter 7 and there's a whole section about parent involvement. And it talks about what is allowed and what is not allowed. Why do we need to talk to parents? Why do we need to have the PACs in our projects? All right, I'm going to start with something that is always asked. What's the difference between state PAC and FACE? Okay, think about, we're going to talk about 3 different things today. We're going to talk about state PAC, FACE, and local PAC. So don't get confused. And we're going to start with 2 first ones, which are the state parent involved, state PAC, state FACE. So you guys don't get confused. So what is PAC? Who knows the acronym for PAC?
Council?
Mm-hmm.
Parent advisory committee.
Council.
Meeting.
Council.
Council.
Mhm. Parent Advisory Council. Now let's do FACE. This beautiful FACE. FACE. FACE is family and community engagement. I'm going to tell you a little bit of history, the difference between state PAC and FACE. Why FACE? Now, why we use FACE? So when I came and I took this position as a state PAC coordinator, there was only state PAC, and we were doing meetings, but the meetings were formal meetings, but we were doing some also educational meetings. But then we got to a point that we were doing more educational meetings than the formal meetings. But the state PAC has to be formal meeting. So in a formal meeting, there has to be minutes. So if you know what minutes are, it's when they take notes of everything that you talk about. And then people have to approve them and say, they're good, they're not good, let's fix that, let's change that. We take roll, who attends. And that's why it's called a formal meeting. And that's in the state PAC. And FACE, we don't do a formal meeting. We do more like just learning opportunities. So I'm gonna stick right now into the state PAC because I don't want to confuse people. So state PAC is for migrant parents. And what we do for the state PAC is that we need the parents from different projects. Our goal as the state, we're talking about here, as the state, is to have at least a representative from each project. So what they're doing is they're representing the parents from that project. And the goal, the ultimate goal is, and then we're not there yet because it takes time and it takes a lot of trial and error But we're getting there. But I feel very confident that we are moving into the right direction. It has taken a lot of time. And I think Susan is here and she has seen it that it's moving there. We've seen now the parents are very engaged, more active. The parents from the state PAC, if a lot of you guys don't know, they are the ones that plan the migrant conference. They're the ones that come up with the ideas. This is what we want. This is what we need to be presented. And we honor that because I don't want to be planning all of that. I don't want my ideas. I want that to come from families. I want that to come from the parents because they know what their kids need. I don't have any more kids anymore at home. So I don't know the trends. I don't know what's going on. I'm not in the school, so I don't know what's going on. But the parents do. They know what their kids need. So what we do during the meetings for the state PAC is that we need them because if you go to chapter 7, like I told you in the NRGs, there are 3 components that are super important, and then we have to always remember that. We have to consult because they are going to help us with the planning of the program, and they are going to help us with the operation of the program. And us is the same for the local PAC as well. So as the same as the state PAC for the parents that are representing each project, it's the same for each little project. So the same as the state PAC representatives are doing, which they are consulted, they are planning, and they are doing the operation for the state completely. Then in local PACs, the parents here are doing it for their own little projects. And like I said, we like a representative from each project. And I want to give an excellent news that I think we are there. Just last week, I got referral from a family of one of the projects that we didn't have any representation. And I think we have a representation from each project. And thank you all for referring families, for letting me know that there is a good parent that could be a representative. It could represent the families. And we'll talk about Omaha here, but pretty soon we'll see more parents from the Omaha area, especially now that I'm here. I'll be there at their homes, signing them in. Okay, questions about state PAC so far? Because now I'm going to move to FACE. Right now we are in the what is. And we're going to do the what, when, where, who. What is state PAC? We got it. So what is FACE? So FACE was family and community engagement. And what is it? So what we do in the FACE is for all the parents. So let's look at the difference. So state PAC is for those that are representing the projects. Now FACE is for all the parents. Everybody can join. So if we have, how many projects do we have? Let's see if you guys know. We have 14 projects. We have 14 projects, so we should have 14 parents in the state PAC representing each project for the whole state. Then we do the FACE. And the FACE, everybody can participate. And what we do at FACE, and here's the other really cool thing that I really like to share is that the topics for FACE, the parents from the state PAC are the ones who provided those topics. So they are usually, when we meet at the beginning of the school year, we talk about, okay, what do you feel like parents need to learn this year? So we usually have a good list of different options to go over throughout the whole year. And we only have 3 meetings throughout the year. So it's not a lot, but enough to provide really good educational support. So for the Zoom, for the for the FACE meetings, we do it through the Zoom. So I usually send a link 2 weeks before, and I let everybody know what would the topic be? And so if you know a parent that you feel like, oh, this is good for this parent, I think this parent could benefit from what they're going to talk about. And because you know your families, you're working with them, you know what they can benefit from it. And so you can send that link to the parent, say, hey, we're going to talk about this. Would you like to join? And basically, that's all that we require from you guys, to invite parents. And we give them the tools to keep supporting their kids at home and in every educational way that we can. So we always bring experts that they talk about different themes. Like just last month, we talked about bullying. What were their rights? What parents' rights? How, if they know if their kid is being bullied. Yeah, I can't even talk right now. What can they do, and what rights do they have? So, and it could be either way. It could be that their kid is either being bullied, or their kid is the one that is causing the issues too. So it could be, both ways. So in the Zoom meetings, like I said, we always try to bring someone that I can offer good educational topics for our families. So that is the what is. Now we're going to go with who can participate. And I think I already touched about this. So who can participate at the state PAC? Any parent who is a representative and someone who makes the commitment to serve at the state PAC. It's not a huge commitment like they have to sign with blood and things like that. Not at all. We try to make it really easy for the parents. We even provide the tools. We even provide them with the iPad, so they'll have all the tools, so they don't have any, like, if they're lacking the technology to connect, we'll provide them with everything that they need to connect from their home, because they'll be connecting from their homes. And for the face, like I said, everybody is invited to connect, and everybody is welcome to attend. You guys are welcome to attend as well. If you are in a house and you're doing a home visit and you're like, oh, I think this family could benefit from this topic, you're there, you can connect, and then you do a family engagement activity with the family right there. And why do we need to do this? Remember the 3 words that we have to do it. Why do we need to do this? What were the 3 key words? To consult,
Plan and operate.
Because to consult for the planning, so they help us with the planning and the operation of the program. And again, if Sue Henry will be here, she'll probably be very proud of me that it's a requirement. It is a requirement. If you look in chapter 7, it is a requirement that we consult with our parents, and then we provide different activities for families. And we need to make sure we ensure that they have full participation. We want to make sure that they are benefit from the program, that they know that they are part of this program. And we have a beautiful program. I think if we are here in this program, we believe that we have a beautiful program. We do have. I always feel like the migrant program offers a lot of good benefits for their students. And why do we do FACE? We do FACE because we want to offer more opportunities, and because for you guys, you already have so much going on that it's hard for you guys to be planning more activities on top. So if as the state, we offer more educational topics for families, so it's something that you don't even have to think about it. Something less in your plate that we are trying to provide. And we want to help you to support the education of all the kids from the migrant program. The mission of the state PAC, we created a mission a couple of years ago with the first group that started the state PAC, which was just in the central area. I remember there were just parents from Grand Island, Hastings, and Kearney. We started very small, just 3 projects. And we came up with a mission, which was to educate parents to become strong advocates for their children's education so they can be leaders in their communities. So that's what we want to do. We want to make them strong leaders. We want them to be able to thrive in the community, because you don't want a parent that it needs you 7/24, right? That they keep calling you. Letty, I need you, I need you, I need you. No, you want them to give them the tools so eventually they'll be able to become a leader, and then they will not need you anymore. And when do we meet? So the state PAC meets 4 times a year. Look at them, look at my fingers. Do you see that? 4 times a year. 4 times a year. We meet 4 times a year at September, November, January, and March. Those are the months that we meet. And for FACE, it's in September, November, and in January. And I know that everybody has the MEP calendar, I think, and you should be able to see it there. And the times are there, everything is there. So you should be able to see those meetings that are already scheduled. Oops, went too fast. Who is responsible? Now, who's responsible for all of this? So for state PAC, I'm the responsible. But I also really rely on the projects, because if I need a parent to represent their project, I need you guys to give me that referral, because I don't know the families. I wish I would know everybody, but I don't know them. So you guys know who could be a good leader, who could represent you well. And like I said before, those are very formal meetings with minutes. In FACE, I'm also the responsible for FACE. I am the one who invites who's going to present and who's going to bring the different topics. The parents are the ones to select the topics, but I look for the individual that is knowledgeable to present. And we do that 3 times a year. And for this, who's responsible? I'm responsible to put the meeting together, but I also rely on you guys again in inviting families. I send the link, I send the invite, but I rely on you guys to give that information to your families and letting them know what other opportunities are available throughout the migrant program. Okay, any questions so far? In the ones that are attending via Zoom, or the ones that are attending here, questions so far about state PAC and FACE? Now we're going to go to the fun part, which is the local part, which is your part.
Veronica, I had a question. This is Elpidia.
Hi, Elpidia.
So when you do these meetings, do you have different interpreters? Do you do in English or Spanish? How it works?
Yes, usually it's English and Spanish. And what I usually do, and this is what we do, I don't think I have anyone here from Lexington, but when they have parents in Lexington, what they do is Barrett usually brings the parents, and he is the one who provides Somali interpretation. So if you know that you're gonna bring family, since it's gonna be in English, and it usually is English and Spanish, and we kind of look at the audience. If we see that most of the audience is Spanish speaking, then we do it in Spanish. But then if we see that there are other languages, then we do it English and Spanish, and then we add other languages to it.
Another question from Ms. Mirna is what's the date for the November state PAC?
For the state PAC is the 7th. When is the election day? Is it the 7th or the 8th? The 8th. The day, I know that it's going to be on the election day. And then the following week, that's when we have FACE, I believe. And that's coming soon. I am waiting for a confirmation from my presenter. And we're going to be talking about preparation for kindergarten.
Cool.
More questions, Cesar?
Nope.
No?
Any more questions?
Okay. All right, now we're gonna move to local packs. So as you know, it's the same, state pack and local pack, same guidance. Go to chapter 7 on the NRG, it's the same, it applies for both. Applies for state pack and applies for local pack. Why do we need to do a local pack? Let's see. 3 words that you need to learn today. Why do we need to do local packs?
Oh, the consult plan and operate.
Yes. So
Plan and operate.
if you look in your NRGs, I kind of copy from the NRG and it's in the presentation there. And it says that local operating agencies must consult with parent advisory councils and planning and operating the MEP if they operate programs of 1 school year and duration. And then you can go and read the rest. If you cannot sleep, please read the NRG. Really, it's gonna help you to go to help you sleep. There's a lot there that things that you can do and cannot do as a local pack, but that is the whole reason, and it's a requirement. I go back again, it is a requirement that we have local packs. So who can participate at your local pack? Yeah, all the parents. You can call, you can invite your parents, you can invite the school district, you can invite teachers, you can invite federal program directors, you can invite social workers, anyone that you know that you can build relationships with them so they can see how strong your program is. So you can kind of showcase what you're doing, because you can say, this is what we're doing as a program. And so they can support you more, so they can see, and they can also get to know the families as well. Or anyone that works directly with migrant programs. I think it was, to be honest, I don't remember which, in what project I was, but there was someone from one of the companies that provides a lot of work for families. I don't know if it was Rhode Island or something, JBS, or work for something like that. But they invited people like that, that could support families that way too. So anyone that could represent, you know, or employees, migrant families. That way they can support them as well. These are some of the ideas. Well, not ideas. These are requirements too. When you plan your local pack, what do you have in mind when you're planning your local pack? You're like, oh, we don't have anything to do, and I guess we're supposed to have a local pack. Let's just have a local pack. Why do you plan a local pack? Why do we plan it? First of all, because we need to consult, of course. And we need to do the planning, because we need to ask parents about how we can better the program, and we are going to tell them about how we operate. Okay, this is what we do. This is what we have for you. But what else do you keep in mind when you are planning for your local packs? Because it probably that is going to take about 5 to 10 minutes to do the consulting, the planning, and the operating, and letting them know about that. But what about the rest of the time? What else are we going to put in this local packs meetings when you are planning? You're like, oh, what else?
There's requirements.
Well, we ask for feedback, right, from parents, but yeah, is there still the requirement, maybe you're into this, about the literacy activity or math activity?
Yes, there are three key components that we need to cover, which is high school graduation and services to OSY. We always have to provide some type of activity, information. And when we talk about high school graduation, it could be someone who you invite that could talk about scholarships, that could talk about FAFSA, that could talk about opportunities for, I don't know, colleges, school readiness. It's what we are going to talk about this coming in our phase. We're going to talk about getting ready for kindergarten. How you can teach the letters, how you could help them recognize numbers, colors, things like that. Or you can also talk about reading, writing, and math. Teaching them what questions to ask during a parent and teacher conferences. Those are things that are so important. Sometimes parents go to a parent and teacher conferences and they don't know what to ask. I want to be honest, when I was raising my kids, I come from a third world country. I didn't know there was a parent and teacher conference. I had to learn all these things. So kind of guiding parents, this is what you can ask when you go to a parent and teacher conference. You can ask them about, how's my kid doing? How can I help at home? If you prepare families ahead of time, they'll be 100% ready when they go to this type of events that you're going to be calling. Like Letty was saying, we were calling them and reminding them about the parent and teacher conference. That was great. But what about going side by side? Okay, we give them the call, but we also provided them with questions to ask. Yeah. Imagine how ready they were. Oh my God, I'm pretty sure the teachers were like, oh, this is an amazing parent. And then that's what they want. They want to see the families getting engaged. And then we go back again. We sometimes we don't know. We think that parents don't want to get involved. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they are afraid to go. Maybe they don't know what to ask and they just stand there and they're just waiting for the teacher to talk. And maybe the teacher feels like maybe the parent is the one that needs to do the talking, and then nothing gets accomplished there. So keep that in mind. So the three important components, it's the high school graduation and services to OSY, school readiness, and reading, writing, and mathematics. And those are part of the, help me Suzanne with this, our MPOs. Measurable, oh, I can't say that. Measurable program outcomes. I have to say it slow because if I say it too fast, it will come out weird. Questions so far? How are we doing with time here?
I have a question, Veronica.
Go ahead, Catherine.
Just to kind of clarify, or make sure that we're doing it right. How many local packs are we required to do per school year?
Good question. I was gonna go in there.
Okay.
Per project, you are required to do 2 during the year, two events. But I know some of the projects that have big regions that they cover big regions. For districts, I think it's easy to do 2. But for regions, like I'm gonna use ESU 9 as an example, they cover a huge area. So they have a lot of little cities here, and there. So they probably could do 1 pack here and maybe get a lot of the little towns around and get 1 pack together. But it's a minimum of 2 local packs per year. That's the requirement. And many years ago, if Susan remembers, it used to be 4, right?
Oh, yep.
And there was one day I told Sue, that's a lot. We're doing the state pack and all the activities. That's a lot for projects to plan for during the school year, because we got to do services too, right? So 2, I think it's doable. I feel like 2 are good. You can probably plan a fall one and a spring, maybe a graduation one. So here are just the ideas that you can provide families, and it will help you during your meeting. Always invite parents ahead of time, maybe 1 week before, 2 weeks before. You know your audience, you know your families. My state packs, I do 1 week, 3 days, 1 day in the morning, and then they're there. And you accommodate to their work schedule. You know, we talk about that sometimes they work in the morning, they're not available. Maybe do one in the evening, maybe do one on a Saturday. I know we don't like to work on Saturdays, but for the good of the cause, we can try that. And you always have to provide a meeting location, give them where is it gonna be. Make sure you put signs, like Alejandra was saying this morning. Make sure you have signs, where is it gonna be? That way, a parent, it's not gonna be lost, they know where to go. And make sure you have an agenda, because you have to provide that at the end of the school year. You gotta provide that agenda that you did provide a local pack. So you have to provide an agenda, and you have to provide a sign-in sheet, letting the state know that the parents attended. Make sure all the materials that you are providing parents, it's in their language, so they know. When they go home, they'll understand what they're taking, and then that you're providing interpreters if there are several languages that you are doing the local pack. And make sure you do some rules. I think it's really important at the beginning of the meeting that you tell parents, these are our rules. We're here to learn about the migrant program, and we're gonna do this activity, blah, 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 and go in order. So that way your activity will be very productive, and the families will know what that's expected. Because sometimes they get there and they're like, what's this? So that way they know. Okay, questions about local pack. Who's responsible for local packs?
Never mind.
You're good, Rasha. We have a question here too. By the way.
Who's responsible for local packs? The projects. And if you would like me to be in attendance or support you in any way, let me know. I will be really happy to help you. I cannot promise that I can help you invite families, because I don't know the families. You guys know the families, but I can come in and support you and provide ideas, maybe something that might work, might not work. I'll be really happy to do it. And
Question here.
what's the question, Cesar?
Rasha, go ahead.
I just have a questions about a local pack. Like you said, we can do like preparing parent to go to the parent-teacher conference and stuff. But on the parent training evaluation form, it just have graduation, school readiness, and ELA. So which box do we check for if we train parents for doing?
You do all of them, because to me, I think I'll mark all of them, because preparing them for parent and teacher conferences, they are going for graduation, getting ready to graduate, for reading and math. So I will probably mark all of them.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Also, it used to be a requirement that we did like an activity with the families. Is that still a requirement?
It is, it's at the discretion of each project. Yeah. I think we got to a point that we left it to at the discretion of the projects, because like I said before, you know your families, you know your community, you know the audience. I think at some point, I remember, Suzanne, we had a conversation where you guys were having like a local pack at an apartment, right? So, you know, it could change. So things could change, because we have to get, we have to adapt of the needs of our families.
Veronica, I had a question.
Yes.
This is Elpidia.
I am.
So do you have any form or any material on how, when we talk to the family and say, this is how you prepare for conference, do you have it already a document?
I have something that Grand Island Public Schools actually put together a couple of years ago. I can share that with you if you would like to share it with your families, and I can share it with Cesar, and maybe Cesar could share it with all of you guys.
Send them an email.
Yep.
You.
Good question.
Let me make myself note here. Okay. And my last one, which is something that I need everybody to help with this, is the Family and Student Conference. This Family and Student Conference is one event that we do once a year, and it's a big event, which is fun. It's all about getting to know the families. So this year actually was in Lexington. So this is the time that families could have the opportunity to travel to go to an event that is exclusively to migrant families. So what we do during this activity, during the conference is, imagine, have you been in a conference before? Have you guys been to a conference before?
I think Maureen and I went.
Yeah. So when you are in a conference, you have like a keynote speaker, and then you have different workshops, but we do it really fun for the families. We have to try like maybe someone who can show some type of art to perform. So we make it really fun, and usually not too long, because they can bring their kids, because we provide childcare, and that's kind of hard because it's a lot of kids, and it's usually from 9 to 3. And so the Family and Student Conferences, it's an event that is for all the families in Nebraska. So everybody is invited, but each project is responsible to cover the cost of the attendance of the conference. And usually we don't charge like for the lunch or registration, anything like that. It's more like transportation, or if the family, depending how far they have to go, if the family has to like need the lodging, if they need to stay at a hotel. But just think about it. A few years ago, I remember talking to a mom, and I think it was the first year that we did this activity. There was a mom that came from, I think it was Scottsbluff, and she was like very grateful. And she was like, do you know, this is my first time I get to stay at a hotel. And I was like crying, because I was like, what a great opportunity to give our parents their first time to stay at a hotel. And their kids got to swim in the pool the night before, and they have an amazing time. So, and I'm sure they will always remember this activity, because it was their first experience. We also celebrate our students that graduates from high school, and right at the end, at the beginning of January, you guys are going to get an email. We're letting you know about the scholarships. So if you work with students that are going to graduate, you'll get the scholarships, the application, and all the requirements. And there's 5 scholarships. I go again with my fingers, 5 scholarships. I always got, there's 5 scholarships that it's given to migrant students that are graduating, and they are selected through the whole state. And we do require your help, because you know your students, you know who's going to graduate, so you can give those applications, you can help them to get the referral forms, the letters from their counselors, the requirements that the donor asks in order to get the scholarship. And so we just celebrate their graduation, because it's a big thing. It's a huge thing for them. Even for someone that obtained their GED, because I know, like in Omaha, you guys work with students that are working on their GED. We can also celebrate that with them as well. And we showcase different projects. So I'm really hoping that soon we're going to do here in Omaha, Suzanne.
Yay.
Yes,
We could do it here one of this stuff.
that's right. So our Family and Student Conference is going to be in March, and I believe it's March. Thank you. I forgot about it. Here it is. Save the date. March 18. It's going to be in Columbus, Nebraska.
In the future.
Coming soon.
2024.
I said, stay tuned. Where, see, Lexington, Columbus, what do you think is coming next? It's a small project, so probably not. All right, so what is important about local packs, state pack and phase? We need to consult, plan, and the operation of the migrant education program. If you have questions, you can put it in the chat as well. That's all I have, Cesar, and I think our time is up.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Veronica. If we can give her, now that other people here, we can give her a silent round of applause because we're still in school. Thank you, and on the chat too. Thank you so much. We appreciate it, Veronica. Yeah, this is a